Trevor Phillips calls out David Lammy over his response to Henry Nowak's death compared to his response to the death of George Floyd. Welcome to Politics and Principles, where we don't just discuss politics, but the underlying principles that should be guiding political policies, decisions, and actions. In this video, we will look at a clip with Trevor Phillips' exchange with David Lammy. Keep watching to the end, where we will look at the principle of integrity.
You're basically telling the Vice President of the United States, we're friends, but you don't really know what you're talking about when it comes to our country. Well, let me play you something. This is the Prime Minister in 2020.
Can I start by expressing shock and anger at the death of George Floyd? I do hope that next time he speaks to President Trump, he will convey to him the UK's abhorrence about his response to the events.
Trevor Phillips was not holding back as he challenged David Lammy on the clear hypocrisy shown by Lammy himself and the Labour Party on the whole. David Lammy said that it was wrong for US Vice President JD Vance to have responded in the way that he did following the death of Henry Nowak. Yet David Lammy and the Labour Party were quite comfortable in how they responded to George Floyd's death. Is this hypocrisy, virtue signalling, or is it simply taking the moral high ground when it suits them?
Why is it okay for Starmer, and by the way, your colleagues, Shabana Mahmood, Sadiq Khan, all to express views about a death in an American city, even before the trial took place, by the way, whilst JD Vance, you get ticked off by you for commenting on a very similar tragedy here in the UK.
No case is exactly the same.
Lammy, Starmer, and most Labour politicians took the knee for George Floyd. They even had a moment of silence in Parliament for him, as if he was a hero British soldier who had been killed on the battlefield. Lammy, Starmer, Sadiq Khan, and more all took to social media to express their rage over what happened to George Floyd. Now, with identity politics at the center of everything, it seems that being upset about the savage death of an 18-year-old young man is now somehow wrong and outrageous.
Why can't you have righteous anger and rage about this killing?
Yeah.
Why is it so bad?
No. It's about the response.
Why was George Floyd different? Why were you calling for calm and rational response?
Trevor, no two cases are alike. I do want to assert that.
Do they want justice for victims or not? The problem is that Henry Nowak's death does not fit the left's narrative. And so anyone who responds to this tragedy with outrage must be silenced. You could almost see the arrogance in Lammy as he tries to deny that he's being hypocritical, as if no one should feel angry about this terrible death of a young white British man. Lammy's answers to Trevor Phillips' questions were not only disrespectful to him, but also to the ordinary British public who need answers. It seems as if they have completely forgotten that they sent 60 people to America to lobby for Kamala Harris against President Trump before the US elections. The Labour Party actually went to the US to try to undermine President Trump, but now over a social media message about a damning situation like Nowak's death, they demand silence. Isn't that hypocrisy? The left has a way of trying to assert their moral superiority when anything like this happens. Either it's your fault, or if it is not their fault, you must simply be silent and let the situation run its course. The big problem that I see here is that this Labour government does not care about what the ordinary British people think or say. They do not listen. They just do things for their own self-interests and not for the benefit of the British public. They are just carrying on, doing as they please, as if we were not the ones who put them in power. Integrity is about consistency of character. It is not about choosing when to use political optics to look good in front of the camera. It is about consistently doing the right thing whether anyone is watching or not. That kind of integrity is what gives a leader credibility and builds genuine trust with the people they serve. And this is exactly where the principle of integrity becomes impossible to ignore. This whole situation shows what happens when leaders lack integrity. Real integrity means applying the same standards and the same moral weight, no matter whose side it helps or hurts. Without that consistency of character, trust breaks down, and ordinary people pay the price. Thank you for watching this video. You can now watch our next video with Nigel Farage speaking up in Parliament for the British people, and we will also look at the principle of responsibility.